What's up? How y'all doing today? Kind of got a flat day in the markets. Everything's just kind of bouncing around in a range. Thought that anybody in the Discord or any of my subscribers, if y'all want to play around with the charts live and learn and do a little TA, just explore some different theories and look at some different stuff and kind of see if we can figure out where it's going and learn a little bit about how to understand these charts just a hair. Give you some kind of edge. Right now, I've got the DXY, and that is the dollar index against a basket of other currencies pulled up on the 4 hour chart. And you can see what, if you don't know, it's like a little triangle. It's a symmetrical triangle. And I've got it charted here. Typically, I don't know the exact percentage. I think it's like 78% of the time. They tend to want to break in the direction of the overall trend. It's a continuation pattern. And you kind of have to start off with basics. And I've got other videos on here for that. But this is, like I said, the dollar. And if we zoom out, we can kind of see what that pattern has been. And it's been up. And there's been a couple other times, and I'll show you how you kind of spot that we've had a similar pattern break. And just for educational purpose, we don't have to get exactly perfect, but when you're in that uptrend, you're going to get that almost neutral looking triangle. Now it's completely different if it's pointed, let's say, we'll get to that too. You know, if we're pointed up there and it's something like this, completely different pattern, but that almost neutral looking triangle, it broke to the upside here. And I'm having a feeling that's what's going to happen again. And I drew this. Now, that's the 4 hour chart. We'll go down to the 1 hour. And I drew this earlier today when that red candle hit. Once it hit and that candle opened, I drew it. And we're kind of respecting it right here. It just gives me that feeling that the DXY is going to pump a little higher. We're going to go higher on it. And y'all that don't know, you don't follow my Discord or follow me on YouTube yet, the DXY has provenly over time, over and over and over and over and over again, if it's going up, assets are going down. That's just plain and simple. Most assets are going to take a dump if the dollar value is rising. And you can look back, and we can look at this later. Every big Bitcoin and crypto run has started with a top on the DXY and ended with a bottom on the DXY, and they've been to the date. And when it makes that turn, that's when you start your next bull cycle or bear cycle. They're extremely correlated. So if you want to start looking at patterns and stuff, that's what this is. It doesn't have to break up. It doesn't have to. Most of these patterns will break 75% of the way through the pattern. And it's a lot of other factors at play, but that's what we're looking at here. And that's what I'm trying to show y'all and just work on it. And that's why a lot of people in my Discord ask me, hey, how did you know that's going up today? Or how did you come to that conclusion that we should short assets because the DXY is going to pump or is pumping? And this is where it starts right here. Just basic pattern formations. And this is, like I said, a neutral one. Then you'll move on once you've identified that to help get that edge. You'll look down here at the MACD. Let's see what the momentum is doing while it's in this pattern. What's the momentum telling us? Well, we can see right here on this big dump, we started losing all this negative momentum after it peaked. And that's indicating, and it can always turn and rip again. You can see it's done it many other times and build again. But once you get so close to neutral here, you're going to see, all right, that's more than likely the probability plays out that we get a positive bump. And we did, but inside this triangle. I see the DXY going at least our next stop's probably going to be that 111. And that's a pretty heinous move. If it does that, we're going to see market stocks and cryptos go to crap. Um, Real fast. I mean, they're already bad, but you're going to see it happen fast. There's another stop that I had, and I can zoom out, that I had plotted. Let's see if we'll pull up, set the chart, that we had plotted from, I think it was the weekly then. Yeah, there's some other resistance right here. 111 is going to be your strong one, but I think we'll have that opportunity to hit that probably, like, was it 109.58 I listed earlier. Yeah, not far away. So just be watching that. Be watching that and keep an eye on it and say, okay, we know there's about 3/4 of the time we're going to break to the upside and it's going to happen. So let it be. And that's what it is. So you kind of want to plan your trades accordingly to that. The RSI on the weekly is bouncing in and out of oversold. And an asset, any asset, can remain in oversold and overbought territory for long periods of time in multiple tests. Just because it breaks that 70 doesn't mean it's got to immediately come back down. It doesn't. It doesn't. Bitcoin's rode and oversold for weeks and months before. But that's it there on the DXY that I wanted to talk about. And we'll toss around some other patterns. Just going to run through them. And if you've got questions, feel free. Comment. If you ask the questions, I'll try to answer to the best of my ability. If I can, I'll find you an answer. But let's just talk. Let's chat. It's like I said, it's a slow day. It's nothing really going on. At least try to educate ourselves and look at some stuff. We'll look at, if you got an asset you want me to look at, feel free to post it right here and chat, and I will pull it up and we'll go over it and see what it's doing. But this pattern right here, I'll find a better example of it. I believe it was RKT because I looked at that just earlier. Yes, it was. So we can pull this out here, and these don't have to be touching, all that stuff, but we'll explain just a second. I'll explain how that. So this is like a rising wedge. Not to mention we're at a 200-day moving average. But I've had this drawn since the first two touches. And I'll zoom in so you can see. All right, when you're drawing these patterns, I try to do most of my technical analysis by the classical standards that I've read about and studied and learned. And a lot of the stuff, the way I've learned them from the people I've learned from. And the time frames will cause them to move a little bit. But if you're going to use wicks on top to draw your line, you really need to connect the first two major wicks. And then if you have to use wicks on bottom, you can't go candle bodies on top and then wicks on bottom or vice versa. You got to go wick to wick, same thing on the bottom. Or then you're skewing it to fit, your theory or what you want to happen. But this is a rising wedge. Typically, that's a bearish sign, and it breaks down. So we have our first two connects right here with our candle wicks. First two connects, candle wicks on the bottom, and it formed a rising wedge. And sure enough, about halfway through it, it broke down. And that once it breaks that bottom trend line, then you can confirm that was the pattern, and it did play out and is playing out now. Measured moves are a whole different thing. But that's a rising wedge pattern, and you can look all these up on Google. And it gives you the bearish sentiment, which helps your argument now, is that it got rejected off the 200-day moving average. We just kissed it and dipped down. And to know that we kind of broke through it, and we faked this out, we ran again. But to solidify your argument, you have to look at, what is your MACD doing? What is your RSI doing? As we hit this top trend line, we were double topping it at overbought. Sorry. We're double topping it overbought. But we also had, inside of this, we had a little divergence going on. and I will post that for a second and just say, so we had a hidden bullish divergence happening at the same time we had a bearish rising wedge. And it wasn't, you have to be careful, this wasn't confirmed until you see it get close to neutral, that you can start speculating that that's going to play out. But a lot of times I'll go ahead and draw it and let's see if it's going to respect my line. But you get contradicting factors, so you have to decide which one carries the most weight. And with RKT, if you've traded it enough that you know the stock or you've heard about it, they're typically a garbage. I'm going down to nothing. You know, that's they tend to, if you want to look at the weekly trend, just certain stocks have their personalities. RKT's personality is lower lows, lower highs. We're lucky if we're ever going to make any money and survive off this. You're not going to trade this every day unless you've been shorting it since day one. And if you've got enough patience, that worked. But that's that. And then we had, everybody always talks about Head and Shoulders. See if I can remember what we had Head and Shoulders on. Does anybody have a question about a pattern or how something's used? Got my little sidekick Piper, my little Dalmatian in here watching me today. Let's see if it was BBIG. No. Was it Roku? No, something cool though while we got Roku pulled up. If that's not the prettiest double top I've ever seen. And what's cool is when you're trading something, there's W patterns and there's M patterns. And it's a double top or double bottom. And they can follow each other repeatedly. And we're not even going to get into harmonics today, but we had this come down, make a low and a high, and then a lower low. And on this lower low, after it, and you don't want to take your position right there. I mean, ideally, it was like, oh, buy the bottom. It's not about buying the bottom. And in case anybody ever tells you they're catching bottoms and tops all the time, well, they're full of crap. They're not. You're just not going to do it. You've got to be psychic. You can get lucky at times, occasionally. You're not doing it consistently. You're not. I don't care what algorithm you got. No. Because one person, there's a whole book on this. One person can change the outcome of that entire day. But back to what I was saying. So we saw this. We confirmed it was a top. A couple of candles in and a lot of other stuff. But we're looking for long-term plays here. So how do you know that's the bottom? Well, you know that's getting close to a bottom. You've made a slightly lower low. And then after that wick completes, the buy pressure came in and pushed it up as you were losing negative momentum. And so you get to watch it really closely on some smaller time scales, and you'll see we get to right here, almost a neckline. And for me, that's when I'll start easing into a position because we're forming a W pattern. And long-term outlook, we could be double topping, or this just could be a small pullback and we're ripping. And so I want to trade, let me draw it. I'm not trying to catch tops and bottoms. I'm trying to catch high reward, low risk trade setups. So my confirmation moves from there. I want to trade that to as close to there as possible. But I want to get out once we get to this candle body here. That's when I'm getting out, because that's when we're risking it being a double top and getting a huge nasty red candle down, which we did. So we're trading the meat. We're trying to trade the meat of a trend. And same thing, once we got that double top and it confirmed with these nasty two candles down, then I'm waiting to see if we break this right here, this high. If we're trying to break this high easily, which it looked like we hit it about and went down hard, I want to trade from there once we drop below the 200-day moving average. And I'm gonna ride it. I'm gonna keep riding that short, that put. I'm gonna ride it until the trend tells me not to. And now it may do this on me. And at that point, once I've confirmed a higher high and a higher low, I'll cut my position right there. So we run over here. It'll be about right there on the price range. I've just traded this whole section of the trend with high confidence that there's no indicators that it's reversing, that it will continue. And that's how you get low risk, high reward trade setups. You don't have to catch tops and bottoms. The absolute bottom is horseshit. You don't have to do that. But playing the meat of the trend, you're cutting down so much more risk. There's that. I'd really like to find the Head and Shoulders that I spotted on something the other day that was just so beautiful. BBBY. What can we say about Bed Bath & Beyond that hasn't been said? It's probably going down to a larger garbage level. But anywho, so I'm going to give y'all some little fun stuff to watch here. Let's see, can I do that? See if I can pull it over on the chart for you. No, couldn't copy that image. Alright, well, in that case, there we go. This right here is a great chart for you to have. Cut it out, post it next to you. If you're starting out, cut it out, post it next to your computer, take a screenshot of it, and hang on to that. This is really helpful to spot those divergences, bullish and bearish, when you're trying to learn how to chart. It's going to come in handy. Come in handy completely. But we'll keep looking, see if we see anything that just looks phenomenal. Okay, here. This is going to be great. On Ford weekly chart. It's kind of not there yet, but it's starting to. So this is when you really have to pay attention. You don't really want to call that Head and Shoulders until you start breaching a neckline. And now it's got a downward sloping neckline, and that's fine with me because it's just telling you price action's that bad. But you have a left shoulder, a head, and you're what looks to be forming a right shoulder. And it's forming it at a pretty daggone good level, almost completely even with this other one. So what we want to see is it continue, and it can drift out. It can take a while. The weekly time scale, it's going to take a while to play out. But once it breaks that, once it breaks my neckline at $10.25, once it breaks that, look out below. We're going back down to $4. I mean, that's, and I'm going to show you how to do the measured move just for fun. We're going to go with the top of the head straight down to the neckline. Okay. Then I'm going to copy that, clone it, and then what you'll do is you'll move that to the breakout, wherever your breakout tends to be, which would be somewhere right around there. And that will give you, and that it's exacerbated sometimes, but you can see it's not good. So I mean, it puts you down there like deep, but the weekly time frame is going to throw you off a little bit on that. You've got to get down into the dailies, and it works out so much better. Reset this chart. Let's clean it up a little bit. But you can see what I'm trying to. I've already got one drawn somewhere. I just have to find it. I got too much crap on the list. But you can see how you spot that Head and Shoulders. And it's probably had it before. And there's some inverse Head and Shoulders you can look at. What else? Did we look at the video? They've got, I believe NVIDIA's got earnings coming up tonight. but they went ahead and I think released it anyway, so I think it's kind of baked in. Yeah, nothing. We had that big W shape, little W shapes, but now we've got that M. So we may see more downside, and it would make sense. So let's look at support and resistance. Like I said, guys, it's just a flat day. You got the president speaking about knocking 10 grand off everybody's, anybody that's in school, their whatever, what's that? I don't know. I didn't borrow money to go to school. But your student debt, yeah, that's not free. I'm paying for that. So if any of you actually get a break on your student debt, congratulations, you're welcome. It's a donation from me to you. But support and resistance. Support and resistance is areas that traders have settled up. Candles have opened and closed at through history, and it's a common area where you've seen lots of action. So here you can see that we had the sideways consolidation, and it all respected, bounced off that line there as support, and it was a tight range. And what's really cool is you can go to the top majority, and you want to look at majority. It's so hard to call something support and resistance when you've got one, maybe 3 tops throughout its lifespan. But the fact that it just TA works and it exists, and I'm going to show you right here. So we had this whole range that we chopped around in for months, okay? Months on the video. It tried to break out, then it tried to break down, it tried to break up. But we were trapped in this zone, and more than likely it's a Fibonacci level, and that's a whole nother thing. What's up? What's up, Joe? But what's cool and where you know it's confirmed is that we just drew that line right there. Look over here at some of our latest bottoms. You're right there. You're coming right down to kiss it and confirm that as support. So it was confirmed as support here after 3 or 4 times. No, you can't really be worrying about it. It's just a little pop. The outlook for Snap, let's look at it, man. So we ain't got shit else to do today. We're watching a flat market, and we're watching the president give away more of our money. I got the fib pulled up on Snapperosy here. I'm pretty sure you've asked this before, OJ. And I think the last time you asked, we was in a spot that we were trying to break above that 886 fib level. Got rejected. So we are in a bad spot right there. Let's look at the weekly. I mean, at some point it's got to find the bottom, you'd think. We're still up there. It can go down as low as 473. You're really close to that last macro low of 784. But let's get rid of this and let's try to find something positive on the chart. I mean, I bet I could put it in log scale, but we're just, well, here. Low, higher low, higher low. It's still staying above its lower low. We're losing negative momentum, trying to turn positive. It's coming out of oversold. I wonder what a log scale does for it. Nothing. As of right now, man, it's all I can say is we're turning positive on the weekly, long term. The daily is we're losing that negative momentum or that positive momentum. That's not good. Let's go down to the 4 hour. Yeah, you've got so many gap downs. At some point, yo, what's up? How you doing? At some point, an area of value is going to have to be determined by traders, and they're going to have to jump on it. At some point, unless it bankrupts, shuts down, and goes away, which I don't think, well, Snapchat is used by so many people, man. Everybody's on that. I'm not on it. I'm not on Snapchat, but I know a lot of people that is. And these gaps would be my first targets to fill. So I'm one of those, after you've broke, and this is me. This is not even part of how I was taught to trade. I would have been told by my guy to stay away from this, period, until it confirms some stuff. But the way I look at it, I want to hold this long term. We're on a third higher low right now, and we've got these two gaps. I'd be buying. The Ace Miner dude, yeah. That's a weird YouTube name. Nuxon. New Hoxon. I don't know, but now I know it's you for sure. So what's up, Gil, the Ace Miner dude? Anyway, so Snap, OJ, what I'd want to do, man, I know you've been in it. I'd be trying to scoop up shares. I wouldn't go crazy, but anything $8 and above, $8 to $10, I'd want to be trying to buy for the long term. We're talking about 3, 4, 5 years down the road. That's where I'd be looking. You know, and I want to hold it. I want them to fill those gaps, and I'll probably get out of it at $21. Eventually, they're going to get their crap straight. This recession and all this economy crap is going to get better, and we're hoping that this maintains being a third low. That's all I would do, is I would have a bag of this, because we see where it can go. You know, we're looking at $80 high. If you're buying at $10 or below right now, there's huge upside. There's a gap up here, which it could take years for that to fill, unless they do something spectacular. But if we go back out here to the weekly, we've already had, look what we've had working out here. 2024 contracts, yeah. If I was going to do 2024 contracts, like January of 2024, I'd want to be in like the $21 range for the strike. But we had major loss of negative momentum while making lower lows. And I showed you that chart earlier, and you can keep it pulled up right here, because I got so much crap in my head when I'm trying to talk to y'all. I'm stressed out. I've already started drinking today. When I realized the market was going to be flat, I'm like, there's really not a lot of need for me to be completely sober at lunch. But you've got some pretty nice Class A bullish divergence going on. You could have a nice rip in the coming weeks. And we've already started. It's already played out. So it's confirmed now. Yeah, accumulating shares of it, sure. I totally get it. You've got that right there. You're creeping out of oversold territory. You've already confirmed the bullish divergence, the Class A, the strongest form, and you're building positive momentum again. Now, although you got to look at the macro conditions, that we're in a bear market, a recession, all that crap, it is a tech stock, so it could struggle a bit. But I think you're doing right there, OJ. I would want to have my bag packed and ready right here. If it goes down more, fine. Maybe add some. Don't get too stressed. Let it go. We know the economy is going to come back. It could be 3 to 5 years. Doesn't matter. Point is, you got to buy at a low. If you get a discount, bruh, if you got it at a discount like that, don't stress. But yeah, that's at 8-ish right now. Wow. Accumulate. But yeah, that's Snap. That's what we do with the Snap right now. Well, speaking of crap like that, let's look at Facebook. Let's see what old Meta's doing. We're in the same boat with Meta. Really is. Same boat. Look at me just. Let's see, y'all. Quite the higher lows for a minute. We're just chopping around it so bad. Right this second, we're below it. So we're fighting. We're definitely showing that there's traders right here around this area, and we're hitting the bottom of that trend line right now. That's all we can do is just keep on rocking. Even if you put in log scale, it looks pretty nasty. But you've got to think that Facebook finds a way to survive. They've been around so long now. They've outlasted a lot of stuff. They'll find a way for revenue. Either they're just going to steal more of your data and sell it. That's more than likely their easiest go-to. Then they'll have the VR crap come out and all that stuff. They're going to make money off that. But I also want to have a bag of Meta. For that reason right there, I want that gap fill. That's what I'm waiting on, is a gap fill. Plus, it's a long-term area of confluence too. So we get back above this. There's a year or two coming. That could be a nice run. Can I explain my long, short, and midterm? Okay. So if I post in my Discord, you're talking about, obviously, I believe. If I post in short term, my outlook for that to play out, and this is where it gets kind of iffy, but someone had asked me early on, could I separate them that way? Because they did not want anything that was going to play out like today, tomorrow. They were wanting me to help build them a long-term retirement portfolio, and they only wanted the alerts of stuff to look for huge gains 10 years from now. So that's how we came up with this. Short-term trades. It can play out from the minute it's posted. I'm looking out maybe five to seven trading days. Okay? That's my short term. When I post that, I would be looking for that stock to go up, and I posted it for common shares. Options are for options. You go to options channel, look at it. But the short term is for really like 5 to 7 day max. And because they're going to be a little bit riskier, a little bit shadier company, not a whole lot of. Because if you're just buying common shares, let's be honest, if you're just buying common shares, especially in a bear market, if you're buying common shares, you're waiting on them to go up in price so you can sell them for a profit. One, that's really hard to do in a bear market. And two, if you're playing blue chips, you just don't get those kind of moves. You get the crazy moves in all the biofarms and the garbage stocks. I mean, you may have to buy one share of Amazon and you're going to hold it, and you've got to have some really good TA behind you to do it. And Amazon may only move $12 in that 4 or 5 day period of time that week. It's just, they're not manipulated to the point they move like some of the crap. So short terms, that's what they are. Midterm, I'm looking at more of the 7 to 10 day range out to about a month. So let's just say from that 10 days to 4 weeks, 6 weeks, something like that, it would be my midterm. That's how I'm looking at it to play based on what the charts are showing me. That's how I've determined that I would be looking for it to play out and all the factors. And then long term is anything over a month. And a lot of time I'll specify when I post that trade, instead of just leaving it up to you like, oh, this will be 2 months out. I usually tell you I don't expect to see this with returns for 2 to 5 years or 1 to 3 years. Or long term is something that you want to get and hold a year out most of the time. Now, it could play out before then, but when I say long term, I don't intend on it making any kind of major gains to a target price that I want to sell at somewhere a year plus. More like a year to 5 years. That's kind of where I'm looking. So that's how I have them broke down like that. So if you run to long term and buy something and the next day you're asking me how come it hadn't went up, I mean, that's not how it's set up. But that's how I have those 3 channels set up. And then we have options, the options channel, plus we have Reaper's channel, plus we have Built K5's channel. So And we can restructure this however everybody agrees that, if there's something I can do to make it work out better, understandable, I will definitely do it. I will set up a channel or change something or whatever it takes to help y'all, because that's why I'm here. I'm not doing this for me. I'm doing YouTube for free, and most of y'all in Discord are free or premium trial members. We have a few in there are paying members, but I can sit here and trade by myself all day. I want y'all to ask questions. I want y'all to give advice. I want y'all to come to me so we can do this together. We're building a community. We're building a community that we all win, we all share ideas, and we pump each other up, and we take over the financial world. Roblox a long term? Let me look, man. I've been asking about it before. Let me look real quick. I haven't really ever looked at it. I'm just not a real big fan of that period. I just feel like that's kind of like GNUS brands, and I just would think that it goes to the wayside. We'll try to see if a fib has anything. Where can we pull from? It's the daily. The weekly won't show anything. We'll have to pull from, well, yeah, there's the low. We'll pull from the low to the high. Yeah, it's that's not gonna help at all. You did make a bottom and a slightly higher low, and it looks like you're trying to make another macro low. If that green candle continue and you get, let's say we get 2 or 3 days of follow through, it's going to be hard to do when you're in the bearish control zone right here on the RSI and you're building negative momentum. It's going to be hard to keep that green candle. But anything above 24 bucks, you're making a higher low. So if you're in it right now, you got to hang on to it. It's doing what it needs to do, but we need a whole lot more data to form, and it's got a lot of work to do before it does what we want it to do and get back up to this trading range of between $70 and $90. But long-term things OJ, I don't feel like you can go wrong if it's popular, if it's something cool. If you're buying anything, at what kind of discount are we at right now? Let's look, y'all. If you bought anywhere near the bottom at an 85% discount, even if you bought today, you're at a 70% discount. If you believe in the project, the company, and their product, why would you not buy it at a 70% discount, 80% discount? I can't fault you. It doesn't look good for gains right now, but year or two out, like I said, everything's probably looking about the same. The economy is just in the shitter right now. You're just not going to find a whole lot of great stuff. Even great companies look like garbage. And when I say look like garbage, it means they're just badly underperforming based off the smart ass analysts who think they know everything and they get to set what Walmart's price should be. Maybe we just didn't feel like going to Walmart this week. You know what I'm saying? Maybe this was a bad month for a small group of people that shop at Walmart. I think the analysts are always late on whatever price targets they set. Wall Street shit. It's so crazy how they'll downgrade something that's at $50. They'll downgrade it to $40 as it's running up to $110. It's up 50%, but we're going to downgrade it. And then it runs for 6 more months. They're always late to the party. One of the only things that really isn't down is McDonald's, and I put that in my long term in case anybody looked at it. Us fat people going to eat McDonald's. I don't care. Recession's going to have to be real bad for us to stop buying Big Macs. I got to invest in something my kids are addicted to. We big folks too. We're going to eat McDonald's. So I don't think you can go wrong with McDonald's ever. At any point in its life you buy it, I think you're fine. Twitter's garbage. Stay away from it. Don't touch it. Netflix, their only chance of ever coming back is going to be to raise prices, cut out password sharing, and somehow manage to make a shit ton of money off some blockbuster movies. Netflix ran out of people. That that has been Twitter, Snapchat, Meta. That's all been their biggest problems. Netflix is now any subscription service. That's what you're running into. Is you start running out of people, man. You need more bodies to subscribe. I know, man. Egg McMuffin. That's classic. How can you not? Everybody grew up on Egg McMuffins. They've been around so long. Was it SQM? SQM. What is this stuff here? What are you trying to? OJ, I don't want you to take this wrong, but I believe that's a Spanish name, and I cannot pronounce it, so I'm not going. We're gonna call it SQM. I don't even know what they. I can't even guess what they do based off that. Other than, is it a mining company or a mineral company? Oh, let's see. Chemicals and agricultural processed industry. Okay, all right. OJ, I got to quit. Where are you from exactly? Because I was doing this little like Google Maps thing with a bunch of my people, and I've talked to a bunch of folks. I've got folks from Germany. Uh, we got folks from Costa Rica. We got folks from Arizona. We got all over the world. Where are you at? All right, so SQM long term, I really like it. To be honest, I'm digging it. I'm digging it, OJ. We've got look at all these higher lows, man. And this is the daily. We'll go out to the weekly. Yeah, I mean major growth, dude. We had that big double top, and it still made a macro higher low, and it's steady growing. And what you kind of would have thought would have been a double top here, and this big, massive green candle coming in, we've got a very, very nice trend going. I like it, man. I like it. Not to mention, look at this. We lost all this positive momentum, but then that was it. That's all the sellers we had right there. That's all we could muster up. I like it for another test of maybe 112 in the short term, but long term, especially that it's some kind of chemical mining type company, they tend to make slow growth. I like it. If you're in that, hang on to it. Houston, dude. Let me tell you what, OJ. I am highly pissed off. Why couldn't you have told me you were from Houston like just a week ago? Dude, I had those tickets to that concert that I was trying to give to anybody. We couldn't go. With it was rescheduled from the before the pandemic. Dude, I let them expire. I wasted them. I could not find anybody. I didn't know anybody from the Houston area that wanted to go see Motley Crue, Poison, Def Leppard, and Joan Jett and the Blackhearts. And you may not have liked them, but I would have rather sent those to you, and knew somebody close or went and scalped them out in front of the stadium than to let them just sit here and waste, man. Golly, I wished I had known that, bro. I would have straight up sent them to you. I mean, that was $500 worth of tickets that I just had to let go to shit. That I've had since 2019 when I booked it, and then all of a sudden COVID hit and ruined everything, and they kept rescheduling. AGNC. All right, Gil, let's look. AGNC. All right, people. From now on, we're gonna start. We're gonna start another channel in Discord where you post what state you're from. So in the event that anybody in our Discord has tickets they're trying to get rid of anywhere, we can start there. We might have a guy. Man, I was straight up gave it to you, OJ. Damn it. All right, let's start with the weekly. because they're dividends. What kind of dividend are they paying, Gil? I've never really checked this out either. Oh. Next pay, dividend yield 11.69%. Very nice. That's a hell of a percentage. Real estate trust. Oh. I can tell you right now without looking at the charts in depth that a real estate trust, their market cap's going down. But look here. We had this nasty low during the pandemic low. Nice recovery, almost somewhat of a, a little lower high double top. But we've made another during this economic crash now, because that was stupid government crash. This is economic crash. We've made a higher low. It's been building positive momentum. Been building negative on the daily. 4 hour is pointing towards more upside. But if you're holding it for dividends, man, you'll be all right as long as we keep making higher lows. And that's the key to anything. As long as you keep making higher lows, you're fine. If you've got a long-term hold portfolio that's paying dividends, as long as it's making higher lows, you just hang on to it. You hang on to it till the trend changes. Your trend's a friend till the end. So I like it. I mean, I kind of might want to add some of this to my bag over here because I like that dividend payout. It's pretty sweet. Thank you for that one. They're claiming that retail traders have been the cause of the volatility the last week. Like they just pulled money out of their ass. No, they're not. It's crap. All right. I'm going to pull this one up because I did have this in mind. SoFi. Yeah, I did, OJ. I posted the tickets. I posted about them in Discord, and I posted about them in on Facebook and all my social media type stuff. I was just gonna do a giveaway, and then nobody wanted to even be in a raffle. But now I know, and we had family and friends that lived there at the time we bought it. Since then, during the pandemic, they moved back here, down the street from us. So I was just like, man, it ain't no fun. They're here now, and we was gonna go spend the weekend, go to that, and hang out, party with them. But that's all right. I could have never, I'd never known a pandemic was coming, and that Motley Crue was gonna reschedule 4 freaking times. SoFi, though, I like SoFi, what it's doing, guys. I mean, there's some juice going on here in the midterm range. I like it. We're losing this little bit of negative momentum. We're trying to. And we get back above neutral here on the RSI. I'm looking at price targets in the midterm, especially here. We've lost so much negative momentum. We're about to get the stochastics to cross. Man, I get a massive headache. I think I just need more whiskey. I think we need to go long on this because it's already been beaten down, and we've made consistent higher lows. So for SoFi, my next targets are 718, 791, and 882. And I also took. This is one of those, if you want to do something if you want to take a trade that's a little, I don't want to say iffy, but I'm just not 100% confirmed on yet. I went ahead, I took it, and it's up 26% today. Is the October 21st of 2022, $9 call. Right now you can pick it up for 15 cents. A contract. I like it for a little shorter term gain. I think we're going to make a higher high. which we have, and another higher low. That's where I'm at on that. If you like SoFi, if you're into it. Foot Locker is so close to doing what it needs to do. I mean, after that massive run, after a massive run like that, we just got to look back. After a massive run, it usually trickles back 3/4 of the run. I mean, this one didn't, but it still made a huge pullback. So if we break that 200 moving average, because we're already starting to lose positive Momo on the daily and the 4 hour tremendously, we're building on the 1 hour. I think it's going to be good. RKT's garbage too. We'll see. NEM. Losing my religion. No, that's REM. Boom, boom, boom. Are any of these that you're suggesting or you're asking about, is any of these short-term plays for you, or is this is this kind of your long-term bag of hold it and see what happens, or what? On the weekly, I mean, if you drew it from there, that was just such an exacerbated move. And you still could. I mean, really, yeah, okay, you can go all the way out like that. I mean, you've got a little hidden bullish divergence on it. Really, you're starting to lose negative Momo now. You're trying to climb back from oversold. And you're at a pretty choppy area. Oh, these are long term? Okay, good. You're in a pretty choppy area. Yeah, there's just a lot of trading action. Usually where you're at now, once you get above, if you're below that $44 price, throughout history we've had, we've hit it and just kept dumping, and when we've got above it, we didn't stay above it. We didn't consistently stay above it. It seems like that's kind of the magic number is right where it's at. Just, it's been resistant so many times. Every time that it's broke through it, it's been short-lived, just straight up and straight back down. Instead of building on top of it and climbing, you're just in a big old range, man. And right now, this was your all-time high and your biggest climb since. But now you're threatening to be right back below that $44 price. We'll get in here closer and look and see what it's doing on the daily. Yeah, I mean, it looks like you got a little bear flag going. You're going to get back below this $44 price again, and what it looks to be. Now, earnings might come in and change that. Let's see how they function. Okay, most of the time they're a miss on earnings in the recent year or so. What do they do? Minerals, precious metals. But that's why, okay, that explains a lot of why they do what they do. They're trading in that range. They're that company. They're kind of like Cal-Maine Foods. They remind me of that a lot. Cal-Maine Foods never really massively goes up and massively dumps. They stay in this range from like $36 to $56, and they just kind of trade there. And that's really, really, really solid for dividends, and people like to trade in that range. So just watch out, because you're losing a little Momo. I would watch out if you wanted to try and get out and try and catch it at a lower price from today. I don't know where you're at in it, but looks like we got a little bear flag forming. We're going to get under that $44 probably real soon. So that's my take on that. I'm not looking to short trade that one at all right now. If I do, it's going to be to the downside. I'm gonna have to buy puts against it. Can I'll check that out. Let's see, NEM. Newmont. Let's see what the options are looking like on this bad boy to the downside. We'll go out to September 16th. Surely it would have broken down by now. We'll see what the puts are doing. ABR next. Okay, I'll look at ABR next. And if I'm looking for a break of 44, I'm probably looking for a support area. Let's see, there's 40. A longer term put, my support area is going to be $28. So if I'm going to buy a put, I'm going to buy a put down to $30 on this one and see. I don't think we're going to lose that much that quick. But I think it's going to start moving. Okay, I may have to go out longer. All right. I mean, if you wanted to buy a put on this to $35, cost you 18 cents a contract right now. That's not bad. I would definitely buy a put to 40, and it's still $64 a contract, or 64 cents a contract, or a share per contract. So you're looking at $64. I would risk that because I'm pretty confident it's going down. Do you think we'd catch Google at a lower price? Here, we'll look at Google before I go back to ABR for Gil. OJ, was you in Google or something before the split, or did they split, or was that Microsoft? I can't remember because I don't mess with splits. I want to say it was Microsoft. Let's see. You're down $180 a share, or just total? I mean, Google's one of those, if you look out here at the daily and the weekly, man, I mean, we may get some more downside. You know, dude, you may get some more downside, but I think your downside is going to be limited to just another higher low. I mean, you got to think, man. This is Alphabet. This is Google. If it gets, I mean, when was the last time we were below $100? Way back, a couple years ago. I mean, I don't know, man. Yeah, there's that split right there. Piece of crap. I mean, it's Google. Oh, you're down 180 total? Man, come on now. Don't even worry about that. If you're down $180 on Google, unless you're just needing to free that cash up to get into something else like this week, no, dude, let it ride, bro. Let it ride. Because what could have been a big bearish flag, you're starting to make higher highs and higher lows now. You're starting to kind of turn a little bit. You just need some other factors to start helping you out. Let's get above that 200-day moving average. You'll be fine. Now, I wouldn't. That's just me. I rarely like selling at a loss. Unless I'll do it in a heartbeat if it's a garbage biopharmaceutical play or something like that. I'm not selling a blue chip at a loss. I'll hold it. I mean, I'm not I don't invest money I can't afford to lose, and therefore I'm not going to lose it. I don't have to. I don't care if my kids have to inherit the stock from me. They can sell it for a loss. That's their problem. So what was the other one Gil wanted me to look at? Hey, Piper, good girl. My pretty baby. I wish you'd get up in the camera. I'll show everybody my puppy. ABR. ABR. We'll look you up here. Alrighty. I'm guessing that's it. Another Realty Trust, right? Got to the weekly. Just higher highs, higher lows for quite some time. I mean, since 2008, you ain't did nothing but make higher highs and higher lows on a macro scale. That's golden right there, man. That's golden. You've got a really nice setup. I bet it probably pays a nice dividend too, don't it? Let's look dividend. Yeah, 9.7%. They always beat on earnings. Not a very volatile stock to try to swing trade, day trade. You're not getting a whole lot of opportunities to swing, but it obviously is a growth stock. I like it. I like it. I think you're good. I think this is one of them you hold until retirement, and then you keep holding because you want your kids to have it. You know what I'm saying? That's really solid. I like it. I'm digging it. All right. Let's see. We've been live over an hour. Anybody got any questions about any kind of TA, anything pressing that I really need to answer or try to help you out with right now? Any questions about the Discord? Anything at all? Because we can do this again either this evening or tomorrow. I was just playing around, trying to check out some charts. Thought maybe some of y'all that's been asking some questions about how we find this, how we look for this, all the different ways we spot what we're looking for. Thought we'd just kind of play around, talk about it, look at it, go over it, and do the damn thing. Old BBY. BBBBY. Bed Bath and F&B on. 4 hours starting to turn positive on Momo. That could easily change going into tonight. Everybody gets hyped. They're like, yay, they borrowed more money. They can pay down debt. Look, dude, they're not. They're not. They're just not. Let's zoom out here. Man, they were a great company from 1992 till they peaked in 05. There's the 08 crash, which the housing bubble pop probably destroyed a lot of their sales of bedding and all that crap. They recovered and ripped double top. And now that's a big fall from grace right there. That is a big fall from grace right there. That's massive. The problem is by the Fibonacci, you've dumped so far below the 886. You ripped up, and how many times with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, multiple times you're getting rejected off that 786 fib level. There's just not a lot of strong buyers looking for it. And it could come back. It could come back. This is a really screwed ass Head and Shoulders, but it could come back somehow, restructure, and survive this pandemic type stuff. That the ticker symbol is good. Or are you talking about Bed Bath & Beyond being a good long-term trade? I don't want to be in the long term. I think it's got bad management. And did they not just hire the CEO from, was it AMC or GameStop or something? A previous CEO. If that, I'm pretty sure it's what it was. I think they just hired. Can I find it? Where's my news? I don't know. Blah 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 blah. No, no. 32,000 employees. Ticker symbol. Okay, 6A. Definitely not that. All right, let's look good real quick before I get off here. Gladstone, commercial, corporate real estate. Man, you just you got all your monies in these real estate trust funds, don't you? Which they're probably the ones that pay out the biggest dividends. I don't see dividend information on this one. But year over year, they're down 10%. I mean, it's pretty volatile in a long term view. Long term view, it's high highs and high lows. You're going 272% in 82 weeks. But it's been an unstable couple of years. How's that? Well, that's going back to 08, yeah. But they have been making higher highs. And with the exception of this, probably the COVID crash, it is. With the exception of that, you had higher highs, higher lows. So, long-term investment, cool. Let it ride. Yeah, you got it. You're on point with all your long-term investing. This is stuff you just keep holding and it's climbing. I mean, if you got in anywhere at the top, you're really disappointed right now. But if you got in before 2010, you're pretty gold right now. So, yeah, all your long-term stuff looks great. So, man, if I was you, just keep it up, keep hanging on to those. Go ahead and play some smaller stuff and start trying to play them swing trades. If you're just holding all those, you've got a great 401k IRA portfolio built right now. From what you've asked, it told me today, it showed me you're making some great dividends. You've got some nice long-term growth. I think you're doing well. Doing well. Lance made it. Or most of y'all in the Discord would know him as Luna Slayer. How's tomorrow look? A little early for tomorrow because today's today. Oh no, let's go look. We did talk about the DXY, but I'll look at it real quick. You're probably busy, I'm sure, but for the week, DXY to me just like it's going to continue to rip, honestly. I don't see why it wouldn't. I mean, the momentum's kind of waning off, but it had almost no sell off. I mean, I can't even zoom in enough. That's our sell off right there. That small little pullback, it was weak. It was not strong. So that's what I'm saying. All these small, if you can see it, all these small little red histogram islands, they're weak. So it's showing you any pullback we're getting in this DXY trend is weak. And then we get these big positive bumps. It's showing you that every time we start to make a leg up, it gets strong. It's super strong, man. We keep getting into oversold 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times just since December of 21. That's a lot. That's a lot on a weekly scale. So and that triangle right there. Yeah, man. So dollar looks to be going up this week. Stock's going down. Don't stress about your puts. I'm not. I'm just sitting here riding them out, man. I'm riding them out. That's all I'm doing. They're going to be fine. And we're just still flat today. So that's it, dude. That's it. You ain't tripping. You got it. Are we going to go back down on the DXY and test that bottom level again for springing? Or are we just going to rip towards the end of the day? Let's look at the Dow Jones. Mr. Jones. See, we tried to have that little breakout. Oh, we got rejected and back in. This little fallen channel. That's it. Ride the wave. Yes, I am, OJ. I'm still in them. I'm not getting out of them. It's on the, man, it's on the verge. And I'd rather lose everything I have riding on it than panic, get out, and miss something. Look at today's indecision candle. As of right, if it closed right now, you could call it a spinning top. It'd be called a doji, anything like that. That indecision right there, and that indecision comes right here at this level of confluence. It's a little resistance. I like it. My target's 48.50. That's it. AXSM. I'm holding it till it expires or it hits 48.50. If it starts going down and get a funnier feeling, I'm like, hey, we need to back out of something. Cool, we can cut it. But on the 4 hour, we're losing that momentum, man. We're losing it. You see, it's trying to roll over. The volume's even shit on it right now. You just got a lot of people bought it and it's hanging on to it. They're just sitting on it. There's not a lot of sellers, not a lot of trading on it coming in at all. Well, let's look down on the 15 minutes. See what's going to do the rest of the day. I mean, do y'all see what I'm saying as far as you start to see but you're seeing that arch where your spikes are getting lower and lower and lower and lower until those little pumps are getting lower, and then our little tiny dumps are getting lower. That's where you start getting that arc where they call rolling over, and that's kind of what I'm saying. And you can see where it's done it before, and you can look at it in all kinds of time frames. Just wants to roll over. It's wanting to so bad. So we'll get there. We'll get there. RKT has done a phenomenal job of shitting the bed. If anybody else, we talked about it the other day. I don't even remember where I posted it, but we talked about the RKT puts. Butamus. I'm very ecstatic with it. Ride the wave. That's right, man. That's all it is. Speaking of waves, oh my God, I knew I had something else. I had in my head I was going to talk to you about, and we're going to do it right now. Because I was looking at some shit from some different angles. Let me find you. Alrighty, people. I'm going to come out here to the daily. Let's look at something that I've been wanting to look at, and I keep getting sidetracked. I'm gonna clear this whole chart up real quick. All right, so there's all kinds of different, I don't want to say trading patterns. There's all kinds of different theories on harmonics and wave patterns, and there's 3 waves and 5 waves, and this just kind of, I want to show this to you. Let's see if I can, yeah. There we go. I can zoom. So I'll bring that down, make some space for it. You see where we possibly are getting this wave 1, 2, 3. Now we go on to 4. Is that how I was wanting? Not thinking. No, that's not how I want to play it. Anyway, I saw it. It looked similar. I thought I had it drawn out of my head earlier while I was eating some tacos. I'm like, man, I need to investigate that. But just keep in mind, we've got some waves going. You might have had a little M shape that didn't perform. Then we might even have a little head and shoulders, something like that. We'll see. But anyway, no, that may be, we may be in, that's how I drew it. Okay. Man, I discussed so much crap with so many different people. And then I'm like, oh, I need to look into that. Is they spotted wave patterns. And it's probably going to be that to there, that to there. All right. So we could be going into the 5th wave if we get another wave up. That could be what we're doing. That's how he said that he had it drawn, and I had it drawn with a little more choppiness and a bit a little shorter waves. But you can see we could have something like that, and it would bring us. Yeah, I mean, there we go. That would make sense now that I've zoomed out. That would make more sense if we had a wave to make a slightly lower low than this high right here, this high of 46.37. You know, I could see that for the S&P 500, that being our wave. And typically on that 5th wave, that's when we'll have our correction. You know, you can see where he had in mind, where I was thinking about it. That 5th wave, we can have our correction. And when we have our correction, it can go right here. Have that correction, we could get like 3 waves down to here, there, not only form a head and shoulders pattern, back to there, and something of that nature, and still have a higher macro low. So just watch out. Let's watch out. We could have just a tad bit more downside, or we can, if the Fed does something crazy, we could get this big explosive move up that lasts 2 weeks, and then that's what we got going on. So, all right, guys, I appreciate it. I'm fixing to get out of here and make this kid do her homework, get it over with, then probably jump on some cheer practice because I'm like cheer dad. Yeah, I can do it. I think tonight's my night. I've got to take her. I'll have to go look at the. Hopefully not. It's raining like cats and dogs. Any of y'all want a boat? We'll go build a boat. Let's go build a boat right now so we can go check the mail or take trash out, man. It's been raining for